Who is the patron saint
Who
of
is
England?
the
Saint
patron
George.
saint of England? St. George? St. Patrick? Where is Loch Lomond and the Trossachs National Park located? England, Wales, Scotland,
Correct.
or Wales has its own established church. True or false? What stories are associated with Geoffrey Chaucer? The Cambridge Tales, the Eastbourne Tales, the Canterbury Tales, or
the
London Tales?
Correct.
When is Boxing Day celebrated?
26 December.
31st of October? What is the name of the holiday when banks and many other businesses are closed for the day?
Bank holiday.
Credit holidays? Why were women given the right to vote? In recognition of the contribution women made to the war effort during the First World War? In recognition of the contribution women made to the war effort during the Second World War? In recognition of the contribution women made to the war effort during the Crimean War? Or in recognition of the contribution women made to the war effort during the Civil War?
It's in recognition of the contribution women made to the war effort during the First World War. Correct.
What do you need to drive in the UK? An L plate, a national insurance number, a valid driving license.
Correct.
Where does the Fringe Festival take place?
Edinburgh.
Fraserburgh, Edinburgh,
Correct.
Inverness. How many members does the Welsh Government have?
60.
150? 120? The names of photographs of young people found guilty of a crime can be published in newspapers or used by the media.
Correct.
What was Edward Elgar famous for? He was a musician. He was a tennis player. He was a comedian.
Correct.
Which of the following is not a British banknote?
25
£50, £25. Where does the Scottish Grand National take place? Fife, Edinburgh, Ayr, or
Edinburgh.
St Andrews?
This is not correct. Where does the Scottish Grand National take place? Ayr. The Scottish Grand National takes place at Ayr. Wow, good.
When did the UK join the EU? In 1957, in 1973, in 1975, or in 1964?
Correct.
During the reign of Elizabeth I, a large fleet of ships was sent to England to conquer the country and to restore Catholicism. Where did this fleet come from?
It's from Spain.
France?
Correct.
Portugal? What did the Habeas Corpus Act introduce? That every prisoner has a right to a court hearing? A salary for members of Parliament, MPs? Financial help for the unemployed, old age pensions and free school meals? Or measures to improve the conditions of workers?
That every prisoner has a right to a court hearing. That is correct.
What did Emmeline Pankhurst fight for? The right to liberty and security? The right for women to vote? Freedom of expression?
That one
or
is...
the right to a fair trial?
Is the right for women to vote.
What is the Proms? An annual event that gives awards in a range of categories, such as Best British Group and Best British Solo Artist. An annual cultural festival which includes music, dance, art, and original performances largely in Welsh. An 8-week summer season of daily orchestral classical music concerts. Or light-hearted plays with music and comedy.
I think an 8-week summer season of daily orchestral classical music concerts. That is correct.
What was Isaac Newton known for? The discovery of insulin, the discovery of gravity, the discovery of penicillin, or
The discovery of
the
gravity.
discovery of steam power. When did the First World War come to an end? In 1922, in 1918, in 1945. Who built a wall in the north of England to keep out the Picts, ancestors of the Scottish people? Boudicca, Emperor Hadrian, Emperor Claudius, or which two universities participate in an annual rowing race that takes place on the River Thames? The University of Oxford, the University of Cambridge, the University of Manchester, or the University of Warwick.
And Cambridge. Right.
Does Britain have a written constitution?
No.
Yes.
Right.
Or no?
Okay. Let's do.
Which of the following is a crown dependency but not part of the UK? Shetland, Isle of Wight, Isle of Man, or Anglesey?
Wow. I think this one. Oh, the correct answer is Isle of Man. The Channel Islands and the Isle of Man are closely linked with the UK, but are not part of it. They have their own governments and are called crown dependents. Okay.
Is the BBC controlled by the government?
No. Correct.
Yes. How many members does the Northern Ireland Assembly have?
It's
12?
Correct.
6? Who was in charge of the British fleet at the Battle of Trafalgar? Oliver Cromwell, the Duke of Wellington, Robert the Bruce, or Admiral Nelson? What was inscribed in the first coins to be minted in Britain during the Iron Age? The names of Iron Age kings, the names of Iron Age gods, the names of trees, or the names of animals?
The answer is the name of Iron Age kings. Correct.
Towns, cities, and rural areas in the UK are governed by government-appointed officials. True or false?
I don't know this one. Maybe true. False. Yeah. Towns, cities, and rural area in the UK are governed by democratically elected councils, often called local authorities. Yeah. Right.
Where is the Tate Art Gallery located? Glasgow, Cardiff, London, or Belfast?
I don't know. Maybe London. Yeah.
The version of the Bible created by King James I is known as Authorized Version, Reformed Version, Approved Version, or what is the period of the 1960s known for? A downgrade in manufacturing, a growth in British fashion and pop music, a shortage of water, or a blockage of social laws?
British fashion and pop music.
Between 1680 and 1720, many refugees called Huguenots came to England. Which country did they come from?
France.
Pakistan, Germany, What is the most famous tennis tournament played in the UK? The Queen's Club Championships, Wimbledon, Roland Garros, or the Aegon Championships?
Correct.
MPs can only be contacted at their office in the House of Commons. True or false? What is the day when jokes are published in newspapers and telecasted on TV? April Fool's Day, Boxing Day, Halloween. Which Scottish king defeated the English at the Battle of Bannockburn? King Charles I,
Robert
King
the
James
Bruce.
I,
Correct.
Admiral Nelson. Who invented the World Wide Web? Sir Tim Berners-Lee, Sir Peter Mansfield, Sir Ian Wilmot, or how are civil servants appointed and what political party do they belong to? They are chosen on merit and form part of the Liberal Democrats Party. They are chosen randomly and form part of the Conservative Party. They are chosen randomly and are politically neutral. Or they are chosen on merit and are politically neutral.
Okay, I think they are chosen randomly and are politically neutral. That's not correct. The correct answer is civil servants are chosen on merit and are political neutral. They are not political opposition, yeah.
What is known as the Dunkirk Spirit? When the German Air Force bombed London and other British cities at night time? The evacuation of Allied soldiers from France during World War II? When new social classes appeared after the Black Death? Or the period when many refugees called Huguenots came from France?
The Dunkirk Spirit. When the evacuation of Allied soldiers from France during World War II. I think this one. That is correct.
You have to be at least 21 years old to serve on a jury. True or false? If you wish to be a permanent resident or citizen of the UK, you should choose two answers. Respect the rights of others, including their right to their own opinions. Buy a house in the UK. Look after yourself and your family. Or marry a British citizen.
The correct answer is respect the right of others, including their right to their own opinion, and look after yourself and your family. That is correct.
Which of the following major sports events took place in the UK in 2012? The Football World Cup, the Rugby World Cup, the Olympic Games, or the Euro Cup basketball?
The correct answer is the Olympic Games. Right.
Charles I believed in the divine right of kings, so he tried to rule without the Parliament, to rule with the approval of the Parliament, to raise money for the Parliament, or to restore Catholicism
The correct
in Britain.
answer, the rule without the Parliament. That's correct.
What is the Union Jack? The flag of the Commonwealth, the flag of the United Kingdom, the shield used by British knights, or a trade union to protect workers' rights?
The flag of the United Kingdom, I think. Correct.
Who was voted the greatest Briton of all time in 2002? Mo Farah, Admiral Nelson, Winston Churchill, or Clement Attlee?
Correct.
Which of the following statements is true? Women in Britain today make up about half of the workforce, or women in Britain today make up about 1/4 of the workforce?
The correct answer is women in Britain today make up about half of the workforce. That's correct. Wow. Let's go to 13.
When is St. George's Day?
23
17th of March,
of April.
30th of November. Which is the largest national park in England? Snowdonia, Loch Lomond and the Trossachs National Park, the Giant's Causeway, or the Lake District?
The Lake District, correct.
Boudicca was a tribal leader who fought against which foreign invaders? The Normans, the Vikings,
Romans,
the
correct.
Anglo-Saxons. Which of the following poems is about a group of people going on a pilgrimage? The Canterbury Tales,
The Canterbury Tales,
All the World's a Stage.
correct.
How are public holidays called? Bank holidays, workers' holidays, business holidays, or summer holidays?
Bank holidays, I think. Correct.
How did Charles II manage to escape to Europe after his defeat in the Civil War? Hiding in a farmer's house, riding a horse, hiding in an oak tree,
Hiding
or
in
swimming?
an oak tree.
Who defeated the Vikings? Harold, Edward I of England, King Arthur, or
King Alfred,
the Great?
Correct.
Who was William Caxton? A poet who wrote about a group of people going to Canterbury on a pilgrimage? The first person in England to print books using a printing press? The first person to sail single-handedly around the world? Or the inventor of the television? Who was William Caxton? A poet who wrote about a group of people going to Canterbury on a pilgrimage? The first person in England to print books using a printing press?
I think
The first
that's
person to sail single-handedly around the world?
in
or
England to
the
print
inventor
book
of the
using
television?
a printing press.
Where do beefeaters serve as tour guides? The Houses of Parliament, the Tower of London, the O2, or the Big Ben?
The Tower of London.
During the rebellion of the clans in Scotland, Bonnie Prince Charlie was supported by clansmen from which Scottish region? Glasgow, Galloway, Highlands, or Edinburgh? During the rebellion of the clans in Scotland, Bonnie Prince Charlie was supported by clansmen from which Scottish region? Glasgow, Galloway, Highlands, or Edinburgh?
During the rebellion of the clans in Scotland, Bonnie Prince Charlie was supported by clansmen from which Scottish region? Glasgow, I think Highlands. Correct.
What religion did Elizabeth I follow? She was a Protestant,
She was a Protestant.
she was a Catholic? Who became famous for his tramp character in silent movies? Sir Rex Harrison, David Niven, Richard Burton, or Charlie Chaplin?
Charlie Chaplin, correct.
Which armed force was used in the Battle of Britain? The Royal Navy, the Police Force, the Naval Service, or the Royal Air Force?
The Royal Air Force, correct.
In the UK, you have to be 21 years old to be able to vote in a general election. True
False.
or false? Which of the following poets was inspired by nature? John Masefield, Wilfred Owen, Siegfried Sassoon, or William Wordsworth?
I have no idea. Which of the following poets was inspired by nature? William Wordsworth. I think this one, this track. Yeah, correct. The answer is William Wordsworth.
Against which country did the British fight at the Battle of Waterloo? Germany,
France.
Italy,
Yes.
France, or who was William Wilberforce? A poet, a sportsman, a politician, or a musician? Who was William Wilberforce? A poet, a
I think a
sportsman,
politician.
a politician,
Correct.
or
Politician.
who is the spiritual leader of the Church of England? The Archbishop of Canterbury, the Archbishop of London, the Archbishop of Birmingham, or the Archbishop of Manchester?
The Archbishop of Canterbury. Correct.
James I was king of which country before becoming king of England? Wales, Ireland, France, or Scotland?
Maybe Scotland. Correct.
Which of the following statements is correct? Most shops in the UK open 7 days a week, or all shops in the UK close on Sundays and bank
The
holidays?
correct answer is most shops in the UK open 7 days a week. That is correct.
Which country sent a fleet of ships to England in 1588? France, Germany, Spain, or Italy? Which country sent a fleet of ships to England in 1588? France, Germany, Spain, or Italy?
Spain.
Where is the National Horse Racing Museum located? Edinburgh, Scotland, Newmarket, Suffolk, St Andrews, Scotland, or Aintree near Liverpool?
I think Newmarket, Suffolk is correct answer, yes.
Which of the following castles is located in Scotland? Craith Castle, Caernarfon Castle, Bodiam Castle, or Powys Castle?
Yes, correct. Craith Castle is located in Scotland.
Who was a famous Art Deco ceramic designer? Alexander McQueen, Thomas Chippendale, Clarice Cliff, or Mary Quant?
I have no idea. He was a famous Art Deco ceramic designer. I have no idea about this, man. Maybe this one. Correct. Clarice Cliff is correct. 24 out of 24. Okay, we're 13. Let's go to 14. Sorry.
When is St. Patrick's Day celebrated? 23rd of April, 30th
17th
of November,
March. Correct.
1st of April. How are the members of the Northern Ireland Parliament elected? By a system of proportional representation, using a system of ranked voting, using the first-past-the-post system, or using a runoff system?
The answer is by a system of proportional representation. That is correct.
Who was the first British Prime Minister? Winston Churchill,
Sir Robert
Earl of Wilmington, Henry Pelham. Which of the following actresses has not won an Oscar? Tilda Swinton, Emily Watson, Dame Judi Dench, or Kate Winslet?
Maybe Emily Watson. Correct. She's not won an Oscar.
During the Enlightenment, Adam Smith developed ideas about physics, economics, science, or engineering.
Economics.
Who died at the Battle of Trafalgar? Admiral Nelson,
Admiral
Henry
Nelson.
VIII,
Correct.
Oliver. When is Hogmanay celebrated? 25th of December, 2nd of January, 1st of January, or 31st of December.
31st of December.
Proceedings in Parliament are broadcast on television and published in official reports known as canvassing,
Is Hansard.
Hansard,
Correct.
cabinets. Which of the following is a rugby competition? The Scottish Grand National, the Wimbledon Championships, the Ashes, or the Six Nations Championship?
Wow, that one is... Which of the following is a rugby competition? I don't know. This is the Wimbledon. That one is the Ashes is wow. Maybe I would say the Six Nation Championship. That is correct.
Who appoints life peers in the House of Lords? The Speaker, the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Prime Minister, or the Monarch?
I don't know this one. Maybe could be the Monarch. That is correct.
Who mapped the coast of Australia? James Cook, Admiral Nelson, Isaac
Cook.
Newton,
Correct.
or... What was the first war to be extensively covered by the media?
The
The
Crimean
Boer
War.
War, the First World War,
That's
the
correct.
Second World War. Which of the following monuments is located in Wiltshire? Hadrian's Wall, St. Paul's Cathedral, Nelson's Column, or Stonehenge?
Stonehenge. Correct.
Who was the first Archbishop of Canterbury? St. Patrick, St. Augustine, St. Andrew, or
Is Saint
Saint Columba.
Augustine.
how old do you have to be to go into betting shops or gambling clubs?
18.
18? 20? The system of government in the UK is a parliamentary democracy. True or false?
True.
What is the traditional food of Northern Ireland? Haggis, pancakes, paella,
Ulster fry.
or Ulster fry?
That is correct.
Who was elected as British Prime Minister in 1945? Clement Attlee,
Clement
Winston
Attlee.
Churchill,
Correct.
Harold Wilson. How many
Labour
times
Party.
has the UK hosted the Olympic Games?
3 times.
5? 3? Why were canals built during the Industrial Revolution? To link the factories to towns and cities and to the ports, to make space for the large fleet of British ships, to increase the number of water mills in the UK, or to increase the amount of water in towns and cities?
I think the answer is to link the factories to towns and cities and the ports. I think that is correct.
Are civil servants appointed by the government? Yes or no?
No.
Which of the following countries helped Britain to develop the Concorde? Germany, Norway,
France.
Italy, or France?
Correct.
Which invention led to the development of Britain during the Industrial Revolution? Magnetic resonance imaging, steam power,
Steam
radar,
power.
or hovercraft? Who was the tribal leader who fought against the Romans?
Boudica.
Columba, Claudius, Hadrian, or Boudicca?
Boudica. Correct. Let's go 24. The 15. One more and that's it.
Which two languages were used across England during the Middle Ages? Welsh,
Anglo-Saxon
Gaelic,
and Norman
French, or
Correct.
Anglo. In 1776, which British colonies declared their independence because they demanded that there should be no taxation without representation? North African, Asian, North American, or South African?
North American. Correct.
When was England ruled by a republic and not by a monarch? When Elizabeth I died without any successor? When Charles I was executed? When the Carta Magna restricted the king's power? Or when King Harold died after the Battle of Hastings?
I think when Charles first was executed. Yes.
Which film produced in the UK was one of the most commercially successful films of all time and one of the highest-grossing film franchises? Harry Potter, Spider-Man, The Lord of the Rings, or
Harry Potter.
Indiana Jones? When did the first farmers come to Britain? 10,000 years ago? 6,000 years ago? 15,000 years ago? Or 2,000? When did the First World War end? At 12 p.m. on the 11th of November 1914? At 12 p.m. on the 11th of November 1918? At 11 a.m. on the 11th of November 1914? Or at 11 a.m. on the 11th of November 1918?
11 a.m. on 11th November 1918. Wow. The First World War ended at 11 a.m. on 11th November 1918 with victory for Britain and its allies.
Can court orders be obtained to protect a person from being forced into a marriage? Yes.
Yes.
Or
Correct.
no. What medal did Mary Peters win in the 1972 Olympics?
Gold.
She did not win any medals.
Correct. Gold.
Silver. In England, Wales and Northern Ireland, youth court cases are normally heard by, choose two answers, up to 3 specially trained magistrates, a district judge, a sheriff, or up to 5 specially trained magistrates.
The first one, up to 3 special trained magistrates, and the second answer is a district judges. Yeah, correct.
What was invented by Alan Turing in the 1930s? The jet engine, the television, the Turing machine, or the ball pen?
Wow. I have no idea what was invented by Alan Turing in the 1930s. I think the turning machine or the jet engine, one of them. Maybe turning machine. That is correct.
Which of the following tells us about how people lived in England just after the Norman conquest? The Domesday Book, the Book of Common Prayer, the Canterbury Tales,
The Domesday Book.
The Carta Magna.
Correct.
The Magna Carta. Who led a team of scientists to split the atom for the first time? Alexander Fleming, Alan Turing, Ernest Rutherford, or Sir Peter Mansfield? What song is sung by people in the UK and other countries when they are celebrating the new year? Auld Lang Syne, the British anthem, Jingle Bells, or White Christmas? What song is sung by people in the UK and other countries when they are celebrating the New Year? Auld Lang Syne, the British anthem, Jingle Bells,
I
or
think the answer is
White
Auld
Christmas?
Lang Syne. Correct.
Who fought in the English Civil War of 1642? The House of York and the House of Lancaster, the Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings, the Cavaliers and the Roundheads, or the House of Fraser and the House of Stuart?
The answer is the Cavaliers and the Roundheads. That is correct.
Which two of these forts were part of Hadrian's Wall? Vindolanda, Maiden Castle, Housesteads, or Grimsby?
The one is Vindolanda and Housesteads.
What was the religion of the Puritans? Hindi, Catholic, Sikh, or Protestant?
Protestant.
What is the name of Irish people who favoured complete independence from the UK in the 19th century? Fenians, Quakers, Highlanders, or suffragettes?
Fenians.
Which two British pop music groups were famous during the swinging 60s? The Rolling Stones, the Beatles, ABBA, or Radiohead?
Which two British pop music groups were famous during the swinging 60s? Wow. The Rolling Stone and the Beatles. That is correct.
What is the minimum age required to drive a motorcycle? 16 years old, 17 years old,
It is 17
18 years old, or the members of the House of Lords, known as peers, are elected by the people. True or false?
No. By Prime Minister. Yeah.
When did the Emancipation Act abolish slavery throughout the British Empire? 1835, 1823, 1800. Who is responsible for crime, policing, and immigration? The Chancellor of the Exchequer, the Foreign Secretary, the Speaker, or the Home Secretary?
The Home Secretary. Correct.
What kind of genre was the film Wallace and Gromit created by Nick Park? A soap opera, a silent movie, an animated film, or an action film?
An animated film. That is correct.
Anyone who is violent towards their partner, whether they are a man or a woman, married or living together, can be prosecuted. True or false?
Anyone who is violent towards their partner, whether they are a man or woman, married or living together, can be prosecuted. I don't know this one. Anyone who is violent towards their partner, whether they are a man or a woman, married or living together, can be prosecuted. Yes, that is true. 23. That's the last one.
When was the United Nations set up? After the First World War? After the Second World War?
This one after
Before the
Second
First World War? Where is the Giant's Causeway located?
In
Scotland,
Northern Ireland,
England,
I know that one.
Wales. What happened to Mary, Queen of Scots, after being sent to prison for 20 years by her cousin, Queen Elizabeth I? She got married.
Executed.
She was sent to
I know
France. What is the Queen's speech about during the opening of the UK Parliament? What the royal family did the previous year? What the government did the previous year? What business matters the royal family will conduct in the year ahead? Or what the government policies will be in the year ahead?
The correct answer is what the government did the previous year. I think that. Oh, that's not correct. The correct answer is what the government policies will be in the year ahead. The statement is that one. The Queen has important ceremonial roles, such as the opening of the new parliamentary session each year. On this occasion, the Queen makes a speech which summarizes the government's policies for the year ahead. All acts of Parliament are made in her name.
What is one of the highest grossing film franchises produced in the UK? James Bond, Star Wars, The Lord of the Rings, or Superman?
Okay, the Lord of the Ring. Oh, that's not correct. Okay, the correct answer is James Bond. The statement. Some of the most commercially successful films of all time, including the two highest grossing film franchises, Harry Potter and James Bond, have been produced in the UK.
Who can hear cases in youth courts in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland? 2 answers. Specially trained magistrates, social workers, district judges, or members of the public?
Okay, the answer is district judges and specially trained magistrates. That is correct.
Who came from the Netherlands to become the British monarch? William II, Charles II, Edward
I
II,
think
or George II?
Charles II, I think. Yes, it is correct.
Who can apply for the National Citizen Service Programme? 14 and 15-year-olds, 15 and 16-year-olds,
16 to
16 and
17 That is
17-year-olds.
correct.
Nick Park has won 4 Oscars for his animated films, including 3 for films featuring Chariots of Fire, Wallace and Gromit, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, or Women in Love.
And Nick Park has won 4 Oscars for his animated film, including 3 for film. Okay, yeah, okay. I think for wedding and funeral. I think that one. Wellness and grommet. The correct answer is wellness and grommet. Nick Park, who has won 4 Oscars for his animated film, including 4 films featuring wellness and grommet.
Who was the British scientist who co-discovered the structure of the DNA molecule in the 1950s? Sir Ian Wilmot, Keith Campbell, James Watt, or Francis Crick? Who was the British scientist who co-discovered the structure of the DNA molecule in the 1950s? Sir Ian Wilmot, Keith Campbell, James Watt, or Francis Crick?
Case Campbell is not. Jim Watt, Fangre, Butter Science, Fangre, Wilm. I think Francis Crick. Yeah, that is correct.
What percentage of the UK population has a parent or grandparent born outside of the
around
UK?
10%.
Around
Right.
5. How old do you have to be to drive a moped in the UK?
16 years
15
old.
years old?
Correct.
Who was the leader of the Labour Party who introduced a Scottish Parliament and a Welsh Assembly? James Callaghan, Clement Attlee, Gordon Brown, or Tony Blair?
I think Clement Attlee. No, that's not correct. The correct answer is Tony Blair. And explain. In 1997, the Labour Party, led by Tony Blair, was elected. The Blair government introduced sorry, a Scottish Parliament and a Welsh Assembly. Okay.
What is the maximum amount you can claim through the small claims procedure in Scotland and Northern Ireland? £3,000,
£10,000.
£5,000,
No.
£8,000, or £10,000?
The correct answer is £3,000. The small claims procedure is an informal way of helping people to settle minor disputes without spending a lot of time and money using a lawyer. This procedure is used for claims of less than 10,000 in England, Wales, and Scotland and Northern Ireland. England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland. Okay. Let's move on.
Which historical monument did William the Conqueror build? St. Paul's Cathedral, the Cenotaph, Dumfries House, or the White Tower?
The White Tower. Correct.
Who became Prime Minister after Margaret Thatcher and played an important part in the Northern Ireland peace process? James Callaghan, John Major, Tony Blair, or Harold Wilson?
Who became Prime Minister after Margaret Thatcher and played an important part in the Northern Ireland peace process? He was John Mayer. Yes, correct.
Who should you contact to report a terrorist activity? Your local
The
council,
local police officer.
your local MP,
Obvious.
Which Paralympic athlete has won gold medals for swimming at the 2008, 2012, and 2016 Paralympic Games? Sophie Christensen, Ellie Simmons, Baroness Tanni Gray-Thompson, or David Weir? Which Paralympic athlete has won gold medals for swimming at the 2008, 2012, and 2016 Paralympic Games? Sophie Christensen, Ellie Simmons, Baroness Tanni Gray-Thompson, or David Weir?
Baroness Tanni Gray-Thompson. No. Ellie Simmons is a Paralympian who won gold medals for swimming at the 2008, 2012, and 2016 Paralympic Games and holds a number of world records. She was the youngest member of the British team at the 2008 Games.
Each of the UK countries is associated with a flower symbol. Which country is associated with the rose? Wales, Northern Ireland,
England.
Scotland,
Right.
or Isambard Kingdom Brunel was responsible for the construction of the Great Western Railway, the invention of the television, the construction of the Tower of London, or the discovery of insulin?
The correct answer is the construction of the Great Western Railway.
What is the Commonwealth? An organization responsible for the protection and promotion of human rights in its member countries? A group of European and North American countries that have agreed to help each other if they come under attack? An association of countries that support each other and work together toward shared goals in democracy and development? Or an international organization that aims to prevent war and promote international peace and security?
The correct answer is an association of countries that support each other and work together towards shared goals in democracy and development. Yeah, that is correct.
Under which name was the movement of opinion against the authority of the Pope during the times of Henry VIII known? The Spanish Inquisition, the Holy Wars, the Reformation, or the Enlightenment?
The Reformation, yes.
What did Isaac Newton discover? Gravity,
Gravity,
penicillin,
right.
insulin? What kind of movies did Academy Award winner Nick Park specialize in? Action movies, animated movies, thrillers, or horror movies?
Thrillers, animated movies. The correct answer is animated movies. Explain. Britain continues to be particularly strong in special effects and animation. One example is the work of Nick Park, who has won 4 Oscars for his animated film, including 4 films featuring Wallace and Gromit. Wow, that one is 17. No way. Let's see the incorrect. Okay, what is the Queen's speech about during the opening of the UK Parliament? The correct answer is what the government policies will be in the year ahead. The Queen has important ceremonial roles, such as the opening of the new parliamentary session each year. On this occasion, the Queen makes a speech which summarizes the government's policies for the year ahead. All acts of parliament are made in her name. What is one of the highest grossing film franchise product in the UK? The correct answer is James Bond. Some of the most commercially successful films of all time, including the 2 highest grossing film franchise Harry Potter and James Bond, have been produced in the UK. Nick Park has won 4 Oscars for his animated films, including 4 films feature Wallace and Gromit. Nick Park, who has won 4 Oscars for his animated film, including 4 films feature Wallace and Gromit. Who was the leader of the Labour Party who introduced a Scottish Parliament and Welsh Assembly? Tony Blair. In 1997, the Labour Party, led by Tony Blair, was elected. The Blair government introduced a Scottish Parliament and Welsh Assembly. What is the maximum amount you can claim through the small claims procedure in Scotland and Northern Ireland. 3,000. The small claims procedure is an informal way of helping people to settle minor disputes without spending a lot of time and money using a lawyer. This this procedure is used for claims of less than 10,000 in England and Wales and 3,000 in Scotland and Northern Ireland. Which Olympic athlete has won gold medals for swimming at the 2008, 2012 and 2016 Paralympic Games? The correct answer is Elle Simenden. Elle Simenden is a Paralympian who won gold medals for swimming at the 2008, 2012, and 2016 Paralympic Games and holds a number of world records. She was the youngest member of the British team at the 2008 Games. What kind of movies did Academy Award winner Nick Park specialize in? Animated movies. That is alright. Britain continues to be particularly strong in special effects and animation. One example is the work of Nick Park, who has won 4 Oscars for his animated films, including 4 films featuring Wallace and Gromit. It is the end.